Papoose, you have my lawyer. If you can't afford to retain a lawyer, since your lawyer that the number you gave us has not been retained yet, I told you I'll pay for it. If somebody over there that loves you wants to pay for it, that will make me happy. Everything is fine and ready to go. I don't want nothing. I'm not even asking for child support. My daughter's school, her babysitter, her nanny, her gymnastics, her swimming, her dancing, her healthcare, her all of that. I take care of it. I've always done. I don't need any.
I just like to express this one thing. All these girls be like, thank you to my man. And I want to say, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands, thank you to my hands. Listen, for me knowing how to fight and me training hard, I make millions of dollars just from beating people up. So, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To my hands.
It started quietly with a clip, just a few seconds long. Claressa Shields sat in front of a camera, not in fight mode, not posturing, not defiant. She looked tired, not angry, not defensive. Emotionally worn down in a way fans had never seen before. Her voice wasn't shaking at first, but something in her eyes made people stop scrolling. This wasn't trash talk. This wasn't boxing bravado. This wasn't the undefeated champion, daring the world to doubt her. And the internet felt it immediately. Within minutes, the clip spread everywhere: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. What had been whispered for weeks exploded into full-blown chaos. Speculation turned into obsession. Claressa Shields had been presented as the definition of strength, not just inside the ring, but in life. She was the fighter who beat impossible odds, the woman who refused to be doubted, the champion who carried pressure like armor. Fans admired her toughness, but they admired her composure just as much. She didn't cry publicly. She didn't unravel online. She didn't need sympathy to be respected. So when people saw her breaking down, not theatrically, not for attention, it felt like something sacred had cracked. And once that image fractured, there was no way to fully repair it. At the same time, the names Remy Ma and Papoose were already moving through online conversations like shadows. A relationship that survived prison time, industry pressure, public judgment. To many fans, Remy and Papoose symbolized loyalty and growth, the kind of love that didn't just survive storms but claimed to be forged by them. That's why Claressa's name entering that orbit confused people. It disrupted a narrative they thought was settled. Was she an outsider? A disruptor? Or someone caught inside a situation far more complicated than anyone wanted to admit? The earliest signs were subtle, too subtle for casual fans to notice. Social media posts no longer lined up the way they used to. Support that once felt loud became quiet. Appearances that once felt warm began to feel tense. Interviews that once flowed easily started sounding guarded. Most people ignored it, not because they didn't see it, but because they didn't want to. Believing in the image was easier than questioning it. Admitting cracks meant admitting the story might not have a clean ending. Then Remy Ma's energy shifted. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't plead for sympathy. Instead, she moved with confidence, the kind that unsettles people when emotions are raw. She posted. She showed up. She spoke when she chose to. Some fans praised her composure as strength. Others interpreted it as coldness. The divide mattered because the internet doesn't just react to facts, it reacts to feelings. And Remy's calm became a blank screen for projection. Every word was dissected. Every pause was interpreted. Every move felt strategic, whether it was or not. Papoose, meanwhile, every move felt strategic, whether it was or not. Papoose, meanwhile, or whether it was or not. Papoose, meanwhile, he didn't rush to explain. He didn't rush at all. And in a digital culture where silence is often louder than speech, people filled the gaps themselves. Some saw restraint, others saw guilt. Some believed he was protecting everyone involved. Others believed he was protecting himself. With every hour he stayed quiet. The speculation grew heavier. Then Claressa spoke again, and this time, the wall fully cracked. Her words weren't polished. Her emotions weren't filtered. She spoke about pressure. About being misunderstood. About being painted into a role she never asked for. When her voice faltered, it didn't sound like weakness. It sounded like exhaustion, the kind that comes From being strong for too long without being allowed to be human, for fans who had followed her career, this wasn't just drama anymore. It was painful. Watching someone who always stands tall finally sit down emotionally forces people to confront a truth they often avoid. Strength doesn't mean invincibility. Social media reacted the only way it knows how, by choosing sides. Claressa's supporters flooded timelines with empathy, reminding the world that champions bleed too, just not always in the ring. Others defended Remy fiercely, arguing that confidence doesn't equal cruelty and that women shouldn't be required to perform pain to be believed. Frustration then shifted toward Papoose, with critics accusing him of letting women absorb the fallout while he stayed protected behind silence. The story stopped being about three people. It became a mirror. Old clips resurfaced like ghosts. Interviews once considered harmless suddenly felt loaded. Comments that once passed unnoticed were reinterpreted as warnings. Fans stitched together timelines, building narratives that felt convincing even when facts were incomplete. That's the danger of viral moments. Emotion fills in gaps faster than truth ever can. Through it all, Claressa's breakdown remained the emotional center, not because she was right or wrong, but because it was real. People weren't reacting to gossip. They were reacting to vulnerability. And vulnerability makes audiences uncomfortable, especially when it comes from someone they expect to be strong at all times. The pressure to constantly perform. Resilience had finally taken its toll. Remy, meanwhile, became more symbol than person. To some, she represented empowerment. To others, heartlessness. Rarely was she allowed complexity. Nuance doesn't trend well online, and neither does restraint. The narrative flattened, sharpened, and spread faster than any of them could control. Papoose's silence didn't calm the situation. It intensified it as days passed. The absence of a statement grew heavier. What began as a pause became a pressure point. In the age of instant reactions, silence is rarely seen as neutral. Fans searched for meaning in the quiet, dissecting every appearance, every repost, every absence. People wanted resolution. They wanted accountability. They wanted clarity that could make sense of what they'd watched unfold in real time. Supporters waited for reassurance. Critics waited for confirmation. Neutral observers waited for context. None of it came. Instead, there was distance, a reminder that real relationships don't unfold according to comment sections or trending hashtags. The expectation that someone owes immediate access to their emotional process is an internet invention, not a human reality. Blogs speculated. Commentators filled gaps with opinion. Clips were replayed endlessly, stripped of nuance, reduced to moments designed for engagement rather than understanding. And yet, Papoose remained quiet, not defensive, not performative. Simply absent from a conversation everyone else was desperate to control. That absence became its own narrative, revealing more about public impatience than personal intention. Some fans found the silence frustrating, even disappointing. Others viewed it as restraint, a refusal to pour fuel on a fire already burning out of control. In a culture that rewards instant reactions, choosing not to speak can feel radical. It denies audiences the closure they believe they deserve. What many failed to consider was the human cost behind the quiet. Healing doesn't announce itself. Processing confusion, betrayal, or heartbreak doesn't happen on a viral schedule. Real emotional work happens off camera in spaces the public never sees. Silence in that context isn't emptiness. It's space. As days turned into weeks, the tension remained unresolved. The lack of clarity didn't end the conversation, it prolonged it. Slowly, though, a different understanding began to surface. Not every story gets public closure. Not every answer belongs to an audience. Sometimes the most honest response isn't a statement. It's stepping back. Papoose's silence didn't give people what they wanted, but it revealed something uncomfortable and real. Healing doesn't trend. Accountability isn't always public. Closure is rarely immediate. What made this situation so explosive wasn't just rumors or relationship drama. It was the collision of public image and private emotion. It was watching people who had carefully built reputations lose control of the narrative, and once the internet takes over a story, it doesn't just watch.